The Champions League group stage ends as it began for Liverpool with a game against AC Milan, but it has been serene progress since the opening night. 5 wins from 5, safely through to the knockout stages. Now Liverpool can have a big hand in who might join them in the last 16. Matchday 6, Group B, AC Milan against Liverpool from the San Siro, and it is an 8 o'clock kickoff. A very good evening to you. Welcome along to the Matchday Live preview. You will hear a lot of people complaining about fixture congestion at this time of year. Not me, because it means I get to spend more time with the likes of Gary Gillespie and Steve McMahon. Good evening to both of you.
Evening.
That is a lovely jacket, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Is that an early?
You talked to Steve or me?
No, well, Steve's is also good, but that is just a particularly good pick.
Oh, thanks very
Early
much,
Christmas present?
No. This is about 3 or 4 years old.
OK, well.
Yeah.
If it's good, you keep wearing it, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
What a night for Liverpool, Steve, in the sense that it's a bit of a luxury, really. Safely through, as you said, to the knockout stages. You can just go out there, rotate the squad a little bit and enjoy playing in an incredible ground like the San Siro.
Yep, that's the point. You're in the right to. You know, other teams will complain that's it's a dead rubber for Liverpool, but that's what they've done over a period of 5 games. In the right to have that breather, to fix it, congestion, as you say. So you're going to play, you're going to rest you. Why are you going to help other teams out? You're not going to. And it's going to be interesting to see who does qualify in second place.
And the key point there is they have earned that right, Gary, because when we looked at the draw initially and saw those other 3 teams alongside them, Porto, AC Milan, Atletico, we felt it might go down to the last day for Liverpool, but they just absolutely cruised through. To be 10 points clear in that group is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was talking about it being the group of death, weren't they? And but I think certainly when I looked at it, I thought, you know, AC Milan, albeit at the top of Serie A at this moment in time, not the AC Milan that you maybe thinking about 3 or 4 years ago. Porto, we always seem to draw Porto, we always seem to get a great result against Porto as well. And Atletico was the one stumbling block, but you look at their form in La Liga, it's not been fantastic this season, hence the reason why we've cruised through the group. And I think the manager will rotate his squad tonight without any doubt, but I think he will show some respect to the competition and the other teams in the group.
I think
as well.
Gary's right, because you can't just bang a load of kids in at the San Siro against AC Milan, who are top of the Italian Serie A. So he has to be very careful, because you can blood them too early and you could get a thrashing, which will knock the confidence big time. So I think he will respect the opposition, and he'll play a mixture of both experience and youth. And
the point would be, Steve, as well, when it comes to rotation, that some of the players we would imagine would come into the team tonight. Divock Origi scored an incredible winning goal late on Saturday. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's form had been pretty good before he's been left out the last couple. Tsimikas has done well this season. So it's not like
maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like they're throwing a load of randoms in, is it?
No, that's right. They're all experienced players. Milner, possibly.
He's suspended tonight.
Oh, is he? Sorry,
yeah.
There's my information. Gone pear-shaped already. but no, it's an opportunity for the fringe players to get game time, and what an exciting game it is as well. You know, you play all season to get into the Champions League, and if I'm a goalkeeper, you come to the Champions League and these games, and they leave you out. Most of the teams rotating, and they're the big games that you want to have. Playing against your AC Milans, your Barcelonas, Real Madrids, they're the games. But time after time, I see the goalkeepers especially get left out and they play the reserve team. I'd be going berserk, me.
And then that's the point, isn't it? You can look at it as a dead rubber, Gary, from the fact that Liverpool have already qualified and done so as group winners. But as you both alluded to, if you're a professional football player and you can't get yourself up for playing in the San Siro in the Champions League, you may as well pack it in and go home. Yeah,
I think when you're talking about iconic grounds, this is one of them, isn't it? We're just asking off air whether Steve or I had played in it. We weren't fortunate enough to play it. It's one of the stadiums where you know, as throughout your career, you would have wanted to play, but we never got the opportunity. So these players are getting a great opportunity tonight to play here.
Interesting point that Gary made in terms of team selection as to how you approach it with the context of the competition, in that do you owe anything to Atletico Madrid and Porto to play a stronger team, or is it, look, we've done our job, if you haven't joined us, tough, you've had 6 chances at it?
Absolutely, why would you? You don't have to do that. As I say, you earn the right in the first place by getting to that situation. It's a wonderful position to be in. I thought this would be a crunch game, a crunch tie, and going away, AC Milan, last game of the group, needing to get a point maybe, I thought, well, this'll be a big ask, but it's cruise control. So yeah, forget the other teams.
I think when you look at it historically as well, Liverpool, their track record in getting through the group stages is always one to leave it to the last kind of game. This has obviously been a different story this season.
It wouldn't surprise me though if AC Milan's or Atletico Madrid, even if you qualify in second, it could come back to bite you. Because they could still go through and all of a sudden you're meeting them in the final. So it's a difficult one, but you can't. You've just got to go out and try and win a game, simple.
Let me put you on the spot then, Gary, as to who you think may join them. Porto safely through if they win. Nothing that AC Milan can do about it. If Milan win, the other game's a draw. Milan go through. If Atletico and AC Milan both win, it's on goal difference, and therefore at the moment AC Milan's is one better. So with all that information, who's going to join Liverpool?
I think Porto will go through. They're at home. They've got a great track record of actually getting out the group stages and getting into the knockout stages. Their problem is to progress to the next level and be a contender, obviously, for semi-finals and finals. I'll go Porto.
OK. Steve and Gary mentioned that they'd never played at the San Siro. Liverpool have never played AC Milan at the San Siro. First time for that tonight. And there at the ground for us is Mark Benstead.
Thank you, Robbie. Good evening from Milan. Liverpool arrived here, of course, having already booked their place in the last 16 of the Champions League. But there are still 5 places up for grabs in the knockout stages, and one of those remaining spots could be impacted upon by the result here tonight. In terms of Milan, they can still make it through if they win tonight's fixture and the other game in Group B ends as a draw. As for Liverpool, well, what's at stake for them? Well, aside from €2.7 million of prize money for a group stage victory, there's also a little bit of prestige up for grabs for the Reds this evening. They could become the first English side to win all 6 group games in the Champions League. Beyond that, there's a chance to play at this fantastic stadium, one of the most iconic grounds in world football. The San Siro Giuseppe Meazza is one of the grounds. Initially built in 1926, it was about a 30,000 capacity stadium then, inspired by grounds over in England. It's been redeveloped over the course of the years, eventually went up to over 85,000. It now sits at about 75,000. But this could be the last chance the Reds do get the opportunity to play, because it could be about to be, well, demolished, let's put it that way. Both clubs who occupy this, Inter and AC, have put forward a feasibility study to try and build a new ground adjacent to this one. So this is one to be enjoyed, because it might not come round again. As I mentioned, Milan looking to try and win today to keep alive their hopes of progressing to the knockout stages. Their team news, well, it's pretty solid. They could have most of their main men around. They have got a few absentees. Olivier Giroud is one that's missing. Simon Kjaer is also out. Anton Rebic is also a player who looks likely to miss this evening. For Liverpool, a lot of debate about what kind of team Jurgen Klopp would pick. A few faces have been left behind. Van Dijk, Thiago, Henderson have not travelled, but those aside, pretty much everyone else you would think of is here. Divock Origi, the hero of Wolves, is expected to get some minutes. There's also hope that Joe Gomez and Naby Keita could feature at some point. A lot of debates about how strong Jurgen Klopp would go. He says there will be changes tonight, but that's understandable. He says for a game like this, he has a responsibility to use his full squad.
We have to rotate. We will rotate. That's clear. We have to. It's the headline actually. Medical department would smash me if I would play the same side again. So we will make changes. But it's always like this. If you make changes, you get in fresh legs. If you get in fresh legs, you can have a higher energy level in the game. If you have a higher energy level, you have a chance to play a good game. And that's exactly the idea behind it. We played 5 games in the last 15 days, which is, yeah, a lot. And now we have to play after the Milan game again, pretty much the same number of games in a similar amount of time. So we have to make the right decisions, and we will.
So changes on the way in Milan this evening. You would think, Gary, that one man making his way into that starting 11 would be Divock Origi, who did it again on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? How many important goals has he scored for Liverpool? And you know what? Even when he first came on, I was really impressed with him. It's one of the best games I've actually seen him have an impact when he's come off the bench. I thought he was really busy, he looked really sharp, and he took his goal obviously well. He had an opportunity just similar to that, just maybe like 5-10 minutes before he actually scores that goal. But I mean, all round that build-up, the ball from Van Dijk was a fantastic ball, wasn't it? The take by Mo Salah really creates the crossing opportunity, and then the little finish from Divock Origi. It was class all round, and it was something that they probably deserved. I think had they come away with just the point at Molineux, I think it had been a little bit harsh on them because they had opportunities. I mean, Jota missed that one, didn't he, from point blank range? So it would have been hard on them had they not taken the full 3 points in that game.
It's an interesting one, Steve, isn't it? Because there was a lot of talk pre-season about Liverpool needing another attacking option, but it's pretty clear who the first 4 choices would be. So then you're almost, unless you're going to sign an absolute superstar, you're looking at, well, who's our 5th choice? So you don't need loads of contributions from guys like Origi and Minamino over the course of a season. You just need important ones.
Yes, you do, but does he want to be known as that impact player? Does he want to be at Liverpool for a long time and play a small amount of games? It wouldn't be me. I wouldn't want to be sitting on a bench and waiting for an opportunity, because then the expectations are high when he comes on. Oh, Divock will do it again for us. And it's unlikely that he can continue to do that coming off the bench. And I'm not too sure he's a long-term Liverpool player, although he signed a decent contract, I think, 12 months ago, on the back of scoring goals, late goals.
So did you say that on the perspective that you think eventually he should or would want to go and play every week?
Well, I would say he should. If it was me, I would. So the answer is yes, he should, and he possibly will do. Depends on well, we've had Solankis of this world, haven't we, and who have gone, and we've got 20-odd millions and 30 million.
He's actually playing pretty well just now.
Yeah, exactly. So you might have to go away to find your feet and see if you can achieve it on a regular basis.
And the other point would be, which is always striking with Origi, Gary, is I said it to one of our colleagues in the media whilst we were waiting for the interviews on Saturday, that it wouldn't surprise you if tonight, with nothing really on the game, if he didn't really add too much to it. As you touched on, he just seems to pick his moments, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's that sort of player. I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you mentioned the 4 that's ahead of him, and they certainly are ahead of him at this moment in time.
And they always will be, won't they?
Well, that's been the case really since day one from his career at Liverpool, wasn't it? He's never really established himself as a starting 11 player. And Steve rightly says it's down to individual opinion or how he wants to see it. You know, I know Stephen wouldn't want to be sat on the bench on a regular basis. You want to be playing, but there's certain people who have different ideas and different outlooks on it. I mean, I think I read somewhere that he's been chapping on the manager's door and asking for the manager to play him, but sometimes that's not possible. But he can only do what he can do, and like when he comes on and makes an impact like he did against Wolves, you know, well, there you go. That's part and parcel of the makeup of the man.
When you're playing at Liverpool at the moment and you've got to be behind them 4 that we have, then it's no point knocking on the manager's door, because he'll say, I don't care, I can't leave any of them out, and you're not getting a game. I'm sorry. It's simple.
Well,
if you get injuries,
he more or less said that, Jurgen Klopp, didn't he? He said, I can't fit you in the team.
Yeah.
I just wonder whether the one thing he is looking towards, and maybe he said to Divock Origi privately, is look, there is a time in January where you will be front and centre because we don't have Mane and Salah, so you're going to play a few times in a row.
Is that enough though? That's the question that Divock's got to ask himself. Is that enough for me to because what happens when Mane comes back and Salah comes back? You know, you're going to be back on the bench again. So he's got to ask himself that question. Is that enough for me? If it's not, then maybe move on to pastures new. But you can't deny the fact that just look at the history. Look at the important goals that he scored for Liverpool.
Are the others we've mentioned tonight, Steve, who might come into the team? Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Kanate, if he plays, because I was one throwing it out there when we played West Ham that he should have played. Because of his presence, his size and set-piece ability, because he's a head on a stick and he's a different type of player. You know, he's not the greatest sort of on the ball, but he's got power, and I want to see him on a regular basis to see what he's all about, because he has got the potential, but I'm not too sure what he's good with his feet as what we were led to believe.
All right, we shall see if he does get the go ahead tonight. We'd think he would do in the centre of that Liverpool defence. Let's just mark your card in terms of what is to come on LFC TV and on Go over the course of the evening. 7 o'clock Matchday Live team news and interviews from the San Siro, and 8 o'clock full audio commentary of AC Milan against Liverpool with Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor. And then Neil will be back alongside Steve at 10 o'clock this evening for the Matchday reaction show, where again there will be post-match reaction from from Italy.